Zimbabweans, how are you today? How are you guys? I hope you're well. I think there's a few things we need to discuss. I'd like to get some of you on this platform to have a chat with me whilst I'm here, because I've done a lot of talking of late. I think a lot of people know where I stand and what I think about land and what I think about white farmers returning to Zimbabwe to revive our economy. And I've clearly stated that they are not the be-all and end-all of everything, absolutely not, and that Zimbabweans, black Zimbabweans, Zimbabweans born after 1980 are capable of working together and farming themselves and producing what needs to be produced in order for us to revive our economy. We do not need these people back. It's not right. It's not right. You cannot, you cannot bring, hi Vicky, how are you? You should not humiliate Zimbabweans like that. You should not. However, we need to talk about this. If there's anybody who would like to join into the conversation, who would like to ask some questions, you can also help me understand, because I'm sure there's a lot of people who have various understandings and would like to share their views. So if you wish to join at any time, just say add or do the add button, whatever the case may be. Yeah, and as you know, Makupe was in Zambia the other day calling on these ex-Rhodesian folks, having a meeting with them, and having said in his post that they are homesick. They are homesick. Well, that's fine if you're homesick. Doesn't mean we must go around distributing land to them because they're homesick. If they're homesick, they must come back home and find a job and help. MC Wildfire would like to be added. Alright, bro, let me see if I can add you there. I'm trying to add MC Wildfire at the moment. Clifford says, I saw you got an invite to go home. Yeah, boy.
Yes, German.
MC Wildfire, how are you, my brother?
I'm super easy. Yourself?
Say again.
Yeah, I'm saying I'm super easy. Yourself?
Yeah. Super easy as always, my man. Super easy. That's a nice way to put it.
Yeah. Right. Look, I've been following closely the Zim situation, especially the one with farmers. Well, the idea of bringing them back. Look, it's a bad idea. It all depends with what is put on the table and what is expected of these farmers. Say they come back, right? What is it that they're expected to do?
I don't know.
Because, look,
revive the economy. Apparently, they are the be all and end all of making Zimbabwe's agriculture flourish again. And yeah, apparently.
So let's go back to the time of the farms being taken, etc., etc. As a black Zimbabweans, especially those that benefited from the land reform, what is it that they've done, or what is it as a black people that we've done to make sure that we boost our economy through agriculture? All right. Nothing much was done. And these guys, some of them moved over to Zambia, and they've been successful. All right.
Yeah.
What is it that maybe the conversation should be, what should we do to work hand in hand? Because I still believe that there's so much that we can gain from these guys.
When you say, when you say hand in hand, what do you mean? What do you mean by that exactly?
Sorry, you can repeat that again?
When you say work hand in hand with these guys, what do you mean by that exactly?
I mean, they've got the know-how, they've got the experience. So why not get the knowledge from them? How it's done, how it should be done correctly.
Okay, if I come in there, there are a lot of young black Zimbabweans who studied at Blackfordby with fellow white students my age and older, and did everything that they learned throughout their time that was there correctly. They are fully qualified in doing agriculture. So when you say hand in hand, because they have the experience, they have the this, the that, and the that's not, again, we are looking at these older people to say that they have got the know-how, they know everything, they've done everything before. And I can tell you what, where chicken farming is concerned, which is what I know, it's something I know, there's no one on in Zimbabwe that is more capable of helping younger people to progress in the farming community. And this is where we get it wrong. We don't need to bring people back. What we need to do is empower people to be able to work the lands. And when they work the lands and they've got their finance, they should be able to employ expatriates. They don't need to work hand in hand with people. They need to employ expatriates and move forward themselves. And
yeah, I mean, I get you. We need to empower the youth. We need to empower the young people. But these young people, they don't have the experiences yet. Don't you think experience is vital? We need the experience first.
What kind of experience?
To farm the land.
To farm the land? Like I said, there's people who have studied farming. They've done practical farming. They've done the theory on it. They've done the full processes. And I know for a fact, because I come from that community, and all the young lads who came up and took over their father's farms and moved on. It didn't take them long, and they didn't need to be pampered to understand how things go. You see what I'm getting at? So therefore,
but at the end of the day, I think experience. Let's forget bringing back. No experience, bro.
Okay.
What they did when they went in those farms, what did they do? They started hunting, right? They started chopping down wood to sell firewood. They started selling the equipment which was in. You see, that is where it all went wrong. Right now, we are saying, okay, fine. If we are to bring back the white farmer, let the white farmer be there to lead the way and show the youngsters, the so-called youth that have studied about this. You know, studying and experience are two different things. You know, these guys have been hitting the ground for a very long time.
Farming. Anybody who has studied farming can farm, right?
Yeah,
they can farm. Just get that right. The only other part, and in theory, farming is all about transportation and rotation. So if somebody has experience via studying farming and doing it, because you can't just learn farming from a book. You have to physically do it in order, and therefore you are gaining experience whilst you are doing it. So that's where I'm saying, once these youngsters already know how to farm, therefore where experience is concerned, the only experienced people which they need are those that need to be employed, the ones that the transport people, the crop cycles, they'll be able to do themselves. They'll be able to understand all of that themselves, and managing people and what have you. I'm sure many of them are enthusiastic enough to do that. And I actually have a friend, Tendai Musa, who is farming, and he is very successful, and he is exactly my age. If anything, I think he's 2 years younger than me. And he's very successful at this particular moment, and he's got various crops, and he's just going into his beef herd now. He's trying to breed his beef herd into a larger amount of head, and is doing extremely well. And he didn't need anybody. But what he had was what was good for him is that he was able to acquire land, he was able to have some form of funding, and he got on with it, and he did the job, and he is doing the job, and he's not failing at all, and he's a very good farmer. So yes, a lot of land was distributed out to the wrong people. We all know that. We all know that. We all know that. Shit, man, you can go back to the farm that I came from, 200 hectares of mangoes burned to the ground. You know, it's no secret, it's no thing, but they are, on a positive note, they are people who are actually farming, and they are black farmers that have been farming long before farm invasions. So let's not forget that. And they are still doing their job today because they've been part of upholding the economy. And how many thousands of tons or what have you of tobacco was produced this year? A hell of a lot. And maize, through the command agriculture. Not that command agriculture has been very successful in the past, but I think it's starting to pick up, and it is moving forward. And my biggest concern is that these people are Rhodesians, ex-Zimbabweans. Ex-Rhodesians. They're not Zimbabweans. They're not born after 1980. These people fought a war, a liberation war. They are very, very, very much embedded in their minds that they feel that they are more superior than us or anybody around them. And the fact of the matter is that brings, there's no stability when things like that come along, because eventually one day it'll all kick off when they turn around, like the South African people on that Black Monday. They came out with their apartheid flags, and they all nice, cleaned and ironed after all these years, came out with them going, well, you know, white farmers, we don't bite the hand that feeds you, what, like they owe them something. You know, we don't want that in Zimbabwe. So it's better that the white folk either be a part of partnerships or something, but they must not. I don't think they should own land, and they should come back to revive our economy so that we can give all the credit to them. It would be silly, surely.
Yeah. Okay. So let me understand this. When you say the white farmer or the German, let's do this. I'm in the office. Let me move to a more quiet place. Then you can call me back, right?
Yeah, no worries.
Let me move to
no problem.
All right.
Cool. More blessings says it has to be a joint farming of black and white farmers collaboration to succeed, otherwise we are going nowhere. I think possibly gift. I think we need to think of people after 1980. We're just waiting for MC Wildfire to go and get a quieter place whilst I read out some comments. Yeah, Kuda. Yeah, farming requires funding indeed.
I think there's one conversation like us.
Mineraji says we need whites, period. We are tired of black farmers who are practicing communal farming in commercial areas. Well, the last point, yes, but the first point, sorry, bro, I just don't agree with you whatsoever.
So, German.
Yo, okay. Yes, my brother.
Okay, what I'll do, let's cut this convo, and then you can add me on another call. So let's end this one, and then you call me back. I want to set up properly.
No worries. Cool.
Hey, German.
Hey, 20p. How are you?
Zirudi. This is right, Zirufamba.
Mushe.
Yeah.
Sorry,
ndanonoka kujoina apa.
That's fine.
Andina nguva yakanyanya kuwanda. I just want to know, do we have to dwell nezvakaitika kudhara? I understand zvauri kutaura kuti mamwe marudisha farmers. Of course, we know that. But what is our plan for the new young black and white farmers for our country?
That's a very good point, man. And I think where I said early on to MC Wildfire is that this is what we need to think about seriously, and I feel very strongly about people born after 1980 and that are born Swedes. Okay, we are very much for those people as a youth and as us as humans. You know, a lot of us went to school with each other. A lot of us we bore with each other. We're very understanding. I mean, I've still got friends from school. We chat every day on WhatsApp. We keep it real, 100%. You know, we say whatever we feel with each other, and that's most important. However, when I see these people going and liaising with others from past time, I know you don't want to bring up things from the past, but the fact of the matter, my brother, is that we cannot hide from the fact that they were part of our demise, and they were part of all the aggro and the racism that took place in our country.
So inini issue yangu ndeyekuti that generation you can't help them. They have got a lot of anger, hatred. Even if you give them inputs, they will go back. They will externalize money food. They will buy boats, but in that holiday every weekend. That's we know that. But we have a generation yauri wewe. We have Muri. What's your plan for that, for your kids? Do you farmer? How can you help the present government could even a forward-looking plan or policy inoita mari inorevolva kwete kuti munhu anopiwa mari iyo nzinde yechibage uri munhu ari makotoni munhu pane project yandakaona 2-3 years ago. Everyone akanga akupiwa chigayo. Everyone akaimboita zvihuku zvimwe zvakamboimbiwa zvakazvo. Ndo farming yatiri kudai here iyoyo.
On small scales, huh?
Farming haifaniri kungoita kuti totarisa mvura yemudenga ka. Farming inofanirwa kunge chiri chinhu chekuti we do it every day of the week. Tichitomuka kubasa tichitozviregawo kuzvibhadhara nekuti anonoka kuenda kupurazi kwedu isusu varidzi veminda yacho. I don't know kuti imimi sevana varipo mazuva ano isusu vanhu variko, what should we do kuti tibve paculture yatinayo ika tiende paneri panext level? Tiriipoda chibage nechikafu kakunyika dziri 80% desert.
Yeah. I know, and we look at those farmers that they were talking at. I think they produced something like 3 billion tons worth of maize in Zambia this last year, and which is a record for Zambia after their independence. You know, okay, that's great.
I didn't look at that story. Zangu ne lot of
That's great.
Because the standards are not going to settle. I see what no brings it. If that is what we want to be, at waste of time.
Yeah. So
we have to have something better.
We have to have something better. Exactly.
So what is it that we have to have now? Do we have something? Do we have a model?
We need what I strongly believe is that, yes, we need a form of a model where we empower. I believe where livestock is concerned, I believe in women empowerment. They're very good with livestock. That's
a good point, because they are almost 52% of the population anyway. So that's a very good point. Yeah.
Absolutely, and I think that will be a good role for them to play. And you can't empower everybody, but you can empower people through employment. You can help. So where these educated young lads that are these educated young lads who have learned farming and what have you, they need to be worked with. They need to be worked with. They need to be funded.
Yeah.
They need to be watched over. They need to everything that they do needs to be tight. They need to be tight and safe.
Yeah, go ahead. Banya funding, like, what kind of funding? Funding grants university Zimbabwe. What kind of funding because funding every year. But how do we do it?
How much was given to the agricultural sector by Chimasa?
Since when?
On his 2018 budget.
My point is, we
on his
can't
2018 budget
money every year.
No, you can't. No, absolutely.
Like,
but there's a budget.
This end up since when do we want to start from? Right from
2018. 2018 budget. There needs to be a strategy. Because as far as I'm concerned, the only people who are gaining out of those funds are the wrong people, and it's not right. It's not right. The wrong people are gaining from those funds, and we are missing generations every time, my brother. And we need to, I just. Again, guys, we're having a nice chat over here. If there's anybody else,
Jamin, put some other people there. Could be even a much broader conversation. You can
no.
Take me off this way. It's so kind of
no. I'm just reminding people, and it is great. I'm grateful for your input, my brother. Don't think I was just merely saying that if there's anybody who wants to join, so we can just keep the ball rolling.
Yeah, you can keep joining. Share my ideas. How best can we make our country better?
Exactly, and move forward. Where are you actually at the moment?
I'm in Sydney.
You're in Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
Nice and sunny, yeah?
Maybe it's midnight. It's midnight now.
It's midnight. But the weather's good, huh?
Yeah, it's all right. So good.
No, that's good, my brother.
Let's try to encourage each other. Even, of course, they've got differences. They will never go away.
No.
But we want to go forward. And how best can we do that?
Yes.
What is it that we have to do in the minimalist of efforts? How best can we make it better for everyone?
That's indeed correct. And these are the ideas that we need to bounce around with each other in order to come up with that solution and possibly propose towards government so that we can pave a way forward, because instead of them rushing off to go look for Murungu, Zambia, they need to be discussing with the people there on the ground.
I don't know what happened on that one, but maybe There might be their friends there, Mariko. I don't know. And
Maybe.
I'm not sure.
May-
I'm really not sure.
It's possible. It's possible.
Yeah, I'm
Anyway,
really not sure. We can't speculate on that. Maybe those farmers got ideas, gonna go battle everyone else. But
yeah.
if they've been there for this much, they are not very far away. What was Zambia?
Yeah. No, that's
less than
right.
30 minutes fly end of Zambia. I don't know. I don't want to speculate on that.
Have a read into it. Have a read into it, and then get back to me
right.
by inbox.
Yeah. So good.
All right, my brother. I'm gonna add another chap now in a moment.
No worries, man. No worries. Thank you, guys.
More love, huh?
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Oh, what's up, guys? Sorry. Just going through the comment section. Dudes are on lunch break, I'm guessing. A lot of people anyway are on lunch break. And see, my main man, Plot, is in the building. It'll really be nice to chat with you, Plot, if you would like to come on. I mean, that would be awesome. Again, entirely up to you. I'm trying to add MC Wildfire. This shit ain't happening, so I'll keep on going through some comments. The economy drives production, and land is means of production, and we need a systematic approach towards farming, with market economy being the lead. Kuda, that is awesome. Thank you so much for that contribution. I'm sure a lot of people will take time to absorb that. How do Jaman, what's your plan for the next farmers, young, black and white? Okay, we had a chat about that earlier on. So we cool. Maybe I need to like spice this video up to get some people watching and shit. Maybe I put on some reggae or some old school hip hop or something just to like boost shit. Because unless people are like, well, some dudes are in Sydney like midnight kind of thing. Why are we still importing maize if we know how to farm Tendai? I think the people that were importing maize were doing it for their own personal gain, because there must be enough maize in our country to sustain it. And I think the importing part may have been a scam by the criminals around Mugabe, if you know what I mean. Right, my mother is a commercial farmer, sugarcane. What they lack, good finance. If they need machinery, the interest they get from where they get funding is extortion. Lizzie, I can believe that, and the margins are probably not as high as they used to be under the Mugabe regime up until 2000, what have you. The margins for white farmers were absolutely huge, and that's something that the government needs to also consider before they start talking about agriculture. It's very important. So let's get back on to the topic of bringing back white farmers. Should we bring back white farmers? Do we need white farmers? Or do we work together as humans in resolving the issues that are at hand? We've got somebody who is going to join us. Let's hear. We're just adding someone at the moment. I'm not so good at these live things, man. I normally need to think a lot before I talk. Oh, she declined. Someone wanted to be added and then declined, so I'm lucky. Anyway, guys, this is getting fucking boring because nobody's really contributing to this, and it would be nice for people to contribute to it because I'm sure there's a lot of things some have to go have some a lot of yeah, una masala dia Sam Sam Shamari, you have been in the UK for too long. You have been in the UK too long. You are saying Pamberi name are white farmers. Huh? Are you okay? Are you okay? That is not, it's crazy. MC Wildfire, we can do that, my brother, if you give me a moment. Yeah, if you give me a moment, we can definitely do that. I don't really like to make the broadcasts. I like to be asked the questions because I thought a lot of more people will participate into this. But it seems that dudes are probably either sleeping if they're in Australia, dudes in England, they got to work, Some of us be drinking wine, and they probably not on their lunch break yet. And if you're in Zimbabwe, well, clearly you just don't have a job, which means you don't have money to buy bundles. Simple. So, hence the traffic is how it is. Kuda money does not have color. Kuda money is green. It has color. It's green. Okay? So I don't know what you're talking about. There we go. Colin Mutema. Colin. We have capable black farmers who have not been given a chance, including financing. That's very true, Colin. There's not enough that haven't been given a chance, a true chance. For example, I think the ambassador to Angola was the one who acquired our farm back in 2002. And that brother didn't know nothing about farming. All he used to do is sit in the embassy and probably do fuck all anyway. So yeah, that's the type of thing that's been happening over time, and not enough people have been given a chance to flourish, and they need to, and they ought to be given a chance. Tazri Maka, how are you doing, my brother? Nice to see you on my live feed. More love. Charles, Jaman, big up, Charles, Rastafari, for life, Jaman for life. Ain't no giving up, all day, every day. So, yeah. Esther, black dudes can't farm. The proof is there. They took the farms, and now the nation is starving. Esther, you are very wrong, my sister. There are people who took the farms that were not capable of farming and who did not want to do any farming. However, there were a lot of people that took over farms and are farming successfully. There's a huge farm in Marandera that is exporting various products over here, horticulture and various products. If you go into Morrison's, you can look for sugar snap peas. You'll find that they come from Zimbabwe, and I believe it's from the company in Marondera. So what you are going on about is totally wrong. You have no idea. I'm sorry, my sister, to have had to educate you in that way, but there are people who are successful. Not many though, and yes, the ones that have taken the land in the past are the ones that are proving not so good and haven't done very well over time. Esther, how long did it take for settlers to be successful? More than even 37 years, because they were supposed suppressed by Britain, which had a strong economy. Sorry, Kuda, you would have to retype that, my man. You'd have to retype that. I just don't like the way white farmers house their workers. They treat them like slaves. It has to change. Prissy, thank you. For once in your fucking life, you've actually said something that's not going against me, and you said something very, very right. I can tell you this. Growing up with on a in a white farming community in Chegutu, where Ben Threef, the big activist comes from, I can tell you what, their farmers were not well treated. Their supervisors, for example, you have a manager or a supervisor here in the UK, the that dude will be on like 30, 40, 50K a year, driving tractors and shit. You know what I mean? In Zimbabwe, a supervisor, a manager, or a foreman, what have you, can't even afford to send their kids to private schools. Yet, we want the white farmers back. I'm sorry, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. They do not treat their farmers right, and that is their workers right. Sorry, and the ideal situation is to have people who are experienced in various places. If I was a chicken manager, if I was a chicken manager for Gono when he had his Lunar chickens, if I was a chicken manager for Gono when he had his Lunar chickens, I wouldn't have expected to send my kids down the road to the school that is peanuts. I expect to send my kids to St. John's, right? You understand me? You get me? You see where I'm coming from? Yes, the way farm workers were treated by white folk in the past is part of their demise. That was part why there was land reform. I'm going to get onto this question. Christine, white farmers should change their attitude towards black workers. Absolutely, indeed, 100%. There's nothing I feel more strongly about than that. Change the way they do things. Like, for example, I know somebody who farms 600 hectares of wheat here in the UK. He's the owner of the farm. Him and his manager farm that 600 hectares of wheat by themselves. He pays his brother, his farm manager, sorry. He pays his farm manager a very decent wage. All the kids go to private schools. Private schools, you're talking 15, 20 grand a year, all going to private schools. Now, in Zimbabwe, white farmers want to have 500 workers. Out of the 500, 98% of them are on minimum wage, and that could be on an hourly rate, that could be $80 a month. The supervisors are earning $500, $600, $700 a month, and they're told that they are doing well. This is where I have problems with that. That is problematic. It's very problematic, and we don't want that, because that is what caused instability amongst us as human beings. That caused problems for us, racial problems, and hence my reason for saying in a post earlier on, if you read it properly, I say white farmers, ex-white farmers, if they are homesick, they must come back home to work and find a job and be employed, not be employers. If they want to run companies in the city, industry, no problem. You're more than welcome. But land and Iskuda, we don't want. Kuda, I'm saying former farmers were backed by their principal country, Britain, which brings my notion that economy drive production and land is a means of production. Henceforth, economy needs to be healthy and farmers given targets to achieve for markets, not for the end. Yeah, Kuda, you've nailed it. Spot on. I mean, I hope people can go down and read Kuda's comment. It's very much on point. Is there anybody who wants to join me? Please, I need to be asked questions because my mind is starting to, drop a little bit. I need to be asked questions. I don't need to be telling all the time. it's boring telling people. It's also nice for people to tell me, as I start growing a big head at the end of the day. And we don't want that, because that don't work. That don't work. That don't work. Anybody wants to join, please hit the add button. Add. Mutumwa, Mawera. Yeah, if he wants to come, MC Wildfire, let the brother join. He was a businessman in Zimbabwe, and actually, yeah, I was reading about him the other day, 2 days ago or so. I found it quite interesting. Oh shit! Thank you, Muko. Thank you, my brother. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna be back in a moment. I've got somebody to invite. And I need to put my phone on charge, so if you give me a few moments, more love. I'm Dr. Comrade Adamski Jaman.